Good morning and welcome to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. But in the big chair today, we have our Undersheriff, Ron Cave. Thanks for sitting in for Sheriff today.
Absolutely, Shauna. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. You know, this is one of those show topics today, Undersheriff, that, you know, we really, as many times as we've said it, we can't say it enough. So we're talking about those scams that people always fall prey to. No one ever thinks they're going to fall for it, but it happens a lot.
It does, and this is the optimal time for people to try to prey on people, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're in the holiday season. I actually got a call this morning from a friend of mine who has a child who is a student athlete in another state. Got a call overnight that her daughter had been arrested and that she needed to send money to get her out. She sent them $3,000 that she will probably never see again. And so this show today is all about looking for those warning signs, knowing, and you know, these are, you know, a lot of people in our community who fall prey to this. They are savvy people.
Yes.
But you know, scammers know how to pull at your heartstrings.
They do, and we see it time and time again, unfortunately. I've heard that exact story multiple times where, you know, somebody that they love, you know, got arrested or you didn't show up for jury duty and it's $5,000 or the sheriff's gonna come and arrest you. And it's just unfortunate that people, one, prey on people like that. But I think what we're doing here is communicating this message and making sure that awareness is there. One, we're not going to call you.
No.
And two, we're not going to ask you to send money in that way.
And not
ever.
Cash App or
or
Green
Venmo
Dot
or yeah, never.
Yeah, so we're going to really look at all of the information, and you know, you may think, oh, I won't ever fall for that. You want to watch this show today because there are some elements where they can get very sophisticated in how they pull off these scams. Not just the online or the phone calls, but we're also going to talk about this holiday shopping season. Thieves know that you've been out shopping. And so we're going to talk to one of our detectives today. I do want to just, you know, from the perspective of LCSO and the work that our investigators do, they are phenomenal. These financial crimes are hard to solve sometimes in tracking down the individuals, but they do their due diligence.
They absolutely do, and that team is led by Sergeant Teems, who's going to talk with us today, and he's done a fantastic job in coming in there. And it's not only hard to investigate, it's hard to manage that caseload because it's a high volume caseload.
Yes.
But he's doing a tremendous job, that unit's doing a tremendous job.
You want to protect your property.
That's
We've
right.
got all
That's
the
right.
details. So be sure to stick around. Coming up, 'tis the season for scammers. We've got information you need to know coming up after the break.
Good morning. I'm Detective Kelly Womack with the Violent Crimes Unit, and this is your Crime Tip Tuesday.
It's the holiday season, and there will be an increase in opportunities to give back to those who are less fortunate. While the spirit of giving is an excellent one to have, we should approach certain charities with caution. When donations are solicited online or over the phone, research the credibility of the charity you are considering. When receiving phone solicitations, don't act immediately. You are entitled to request and receive information about the charity in writing before donating. Verify the charitable organization is registered with the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services by visiting www.floridaconsumerhelp.com. You can also file complaints about possible fraud by contacting the Florida Office of the Attorney General by visiting www.myfloridalegal.com.
And that's your Crime Tip. Have a great day.
A 19-second conversation with a stranger online can put your child in danger of being exploited or abused.
Talking to kids about online safety can protect us for a lifetime. Don't wait. Talk to us today.
In times of stress such as quarantine, what goes on behind closed doors can be terrifying. But you don't have to suffer in silence. Help is here. Love is not controlling. Love is not frightening. And love is not violent. Love is respect. If you need assistance or just want to talk, we are here. In Florida, call the Domestic Abuse Hotline at 800-500-1119 to speak to someone in your area. Or for more information, email the Domestic Violence Coordinating Council at dvcctally@gmail.com.
Welcome back. The holiday season is prime time for scammers and thieves looking to target you. Joining us today is Leon County Sheriff's Office Sergeant Dave Teems. Dave, tell us, our viewers, a little bit about your career so far with our agency. I know it's been several years you've been here.
I'm not that old. March makes 23 years for me. And in the way to condense it, I've worked pretty much everywhere at the Sheriff's Office you can. Everywhere in investigations, back on patrol, teaching people, a little bit everywhere.
Yeah, and the unofficial title you have is?
Sergeant of the Property Crimes Unit.
No, that's your official title. The unofficial is Agency Historian.
Yes, I run the museum at the Sheriff's Office.
That's right, that's right. Well, you're currently working in Property Crimes Unit, and that has been a very busy unit, not only now, but in the recent past. So tell us a little bit about activity that's going on there and what's going on in your unit currently.
Sure, so we're seeing a lot of theft. That's the biggest thing that we run into, especially box store stuff. A lot of people look at that and they think it doesn't really affect them because it's Walmart or it's Target or these large stores that have so much money. But it trickles down to you. If someone's stealing a couple $100s here and they're doing that every few days, someone is, and that happens all over the country, that thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars has got to come somewhere, and the big box stores aren't going to pay for it that way.
Yeah. Now, you touched on burglaries just a minute ago. This time we see quite a bit of uptick. Talk a little bit about that and what people can do to protect themselves.
Well, the biggest thing you can say is it's the holiday season for everybody, right? So if someone doesn't want to pay for it themselves and they see somebody, they may decide, okay, I'm going to go into this neighborhood and let me see what I can see. Are the Christmas tree up? Is it by the front door? What can I see just by looking in? Or in some cases, we've seen it where they'll come into the parking lots and they'll watch you in the parking lot. Hey, what store are they coming from? Where are they putting that? Is it going into their trunk? Is it in the back seat? And then they'll wait till you walk away. They know you're going to be back inside for a longer time than it's going to take for them to go up, punch the window, open the trunk, and get out what they want.
So we talk about people kind of following and having some intelligence there as to what's happening. What about Christmas? Christmas is right around the corner, and people are going to be getting gifts, and gifts usually come in big boxes. Right. What about some proactive steps that people need to be aware of about throwing away those boxes?
So sure, before the holidays and especially afterwards, it's great when you walk out and you see that big screen TV and it's in the big box they've got set up, right? The problem is a lot of people will go out and set them by the road because they need to get rid of it somehow. And they'll leave it by itself, just as plain as day, and people they drive around, they look for that kind of stuff. What's in the box? What do they have sitting out front? What's going on? The best thing to do with that, break your box down. Get you a box cutter, something that you can use, break it up, put it in the recycle bin, and let it go. They're not going to dig through it because it takes too much time, but don't make it easy for them that way.
Right. And then you can also take boxes off to the landfill and to other areas.
Trying to look for the easiest solution.
Yeah,
Most people
right.
don't like driving somewhere, right?
I understand. So tell us a little bit about, oftentimes we get a lot of questions about security systems and cameras, and I know personally I've got a bunch of cameras around my house, but how effective are those? And while we're not recommending a specific brand, sure, but what can they do to protect their property and their personal belongings in that manner?
Cameras are great. They do help, but like my grandfather used to tell me, locks are for honest people. Yeah. So people are going to see them. They're going to find a way around them. Like anything that we do as law enforcement, thieves always find a way to try and counteract that. And then it's like a chess game with us. Where the cameras really come in good for us is on the investigative side of it. While they may not deter someone from coming in, they may catch that vehicle that they showed up in. They may catch a little bit of what they're wearing, something that's unique about what they've got going on, so that we can then share it on our Facebook page and see family members that are tired of the stuff that their family members do, cousins or brothers or whatever that are committing crime. Well, okay, you know what, that's so and so, and they need to know what's going on because that's wrong. So it gives us the opportunity with something really crystal clear to be able to do that.
Yeah, and one of the other things I've always heard about cameras is position them high, so that because oftentimes you'll come up to it and it's within where you can just touch it and move it down. So position it high, especially outdoor cameras. where people can't just walk up and take them down?
So position's great, and here's the best thing I can tell you, and it's a free service that we at the Sheriff's Office offer. Get a hold of our community relations people. They come out and do a security survey. They'll help you with placement, tell you where the best place to go, and go from there. So when I was in the community media relations group, we had a couple of guys that did that. I know we still do. It's a great service. Get one scheduled and they'll help you out.
And totally free of charge.
Totally free of charge.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Dave. Coming up, online shoppers, you may be the biggest target of all. Stay tuned.
Human trafficking is slavery.
And it happens all over America.
Any child, any woman, any man could potentially become a victim of human trafficking.
I am a victim of labor trafficking.
I was a victim of child sex trafficking, but now I own my body.
Human trafficking is any kind of forced labor.
It can happen to anybody.
I am a mother.
I am an author.
I am a son.
I'm an advocate.
I am an educator.
I'm a sister.
I am a brother.
I'm so much more than what happened to me.
I am strong.
I am brave.
I am outspoken.
I am compassionate.
I am a survivor.
I'm a survivor.
I am a survivor.
I am a survivor.
I am a survivor.
I am a survivor of human trafficking.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media,
many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Because when you talk, they hear you.
At the Florida Sheriff's Association, we are able to serve our sheriffs and Floridians thanks to our member support. The FSA Member Perks program was created to give back to our members for all that they do. Members enjoy savings on restaurants, vacations, golf courses, car rentals, healthcare, movie tickets, theme parks, online shopping, and more. With over 300,000 offers, you'll always find ways to save. To learn more or to join the Florida Sheriff's Association, visit fsamemberperks.org.
Welcome back. This holiday season, there are real Grinches out there looking to drain your bank account. Now we're back with LCSO Sergeant Dave Teems. And Dave, the FBI has issued a holiday scam warning for online shoppers. Talk to us a little bit about those types of scams and perhaps what people can do to prevent it.
Sure. So there's 4 main scams that they talk about in the press release that they put out. The non-delivery, the non-payment scam, the auction fraud, and then the gift card fraud, which they're pretty self-explanatory if you listen to what they've got going on. You know, the non-delivery being that you pay for an item. Once you pay for the item, it just never shows up at your door. That could be through like Facebook Marketplace. It could be through any online, you know, Craigslist, stuff like that. The non-payment would be that you're selling something, and then they talk you into sending it out ahead of time, and then you just never get your money off of it. The auction fraud may be, and this was big back when I was younger and eBay kind of first came around. You know, when the PlayStation was really first out and hot, you'd see people with a box on there, and what you didn't see in the fine print was they said it's a PlayStation box. And then you'd get the empty box that you just paid a lot of money for. That was going around a lot. That type of thing. Then the gift card fraud, which is where they always ask you to use a prepaid card. You scrape the number off the back of it or the thing off the back, and you give them the number which they can use immediately, and they never have to send you anything.
Right. And you know, the other thing too that we've heard about over the time is where they will steal gift cards from Publix or Winn-Dixie's or stores, and then will sell those to you. And they've never been activated because they haven't been legally purchased, and so there's no validation or activation. But you pay less than, you know, the cover price for it and think you're getting a great deal.
Well, you've even got that, and also you've got some where people will go through, they'll scrape the foil off the back, take a picture of the number, put it back up as if it's still for sale. Someone will activate it, and then they'll check those intermittently and see if they've actually got money on them and pull the money off. So those are things you have to be careful of, right? If it looks like it's out of sorts of some kind, you got to make sure you're looking at it.
Right. You talked about these public sites like Facebook Marketplace and all, and I want to touch on the safety aspect to that because there's a safety component. If you are out there selling things, talk a little bit about what people need to do that do sell online or other ways in meeting up people.
So a lot of what you can do is verify the person you're talking with. So Facebook is great in that if someone's trying to buy something from you and they're saying they're local, Tallahassee's small enough to where you're probably going to have some mutual friends. If you don't, that may be a red flag. Now, it may not mean that it's not true. Someone may have just moved here, whatever it happens to be. Whenever I sell something on Facebook Marketplace or anywhere, I always ask them to meet me either at the sheriff's office, which we have the designated spots that are set up out there, or at the police department if that's closer. If someone's not willing to meet you in front of a law enforcement agency, they're probably not going to be the most savvy person or the most honest person in the world.
Right. And the other thing, too, is you can oftentimes click on their profile, and if they have 1 or 2 or 3 friends, then that's obviously a sign, too. Something else I want to touch on before we end this segment is jury duty fraud, and hey, we've just arrested one of your family members and you need to wire us or send us or Venmo or whatever a certain amount of money, oftentimes thousands of dollars. Talk a little bit about those 2 scams.
So that scam kind of manifests its way in a few different areas, whether it be the grandson or grandparent, the grandchild scam where they call somebody, hey, your grandchild's been in an accident. They're in a lot of trouble, got to send money. Like you said, with the arrest part of it. I just had someone call me yesterday about jury duty scam. Hey, can you make sure I don't have a warrant? Well, I can guarantee you don't. We're not asking you to pay a gift card for it. That's the biggest sign. We're never going to ask you to pay for something with a gift card, through Venmo, through Cash App. We're not going to ask you to go to a Bitcoin machine. If we want you and we know where to find you, we're just going to come get you. That's just the way that it works. The other big sign that you're going to see is they won't let you off the phone, and there's a sense of urgency. This has to happen now, has to happen now. And if all of that's going on, the biggest thing we can say, and we talked about this off the air, call the person. If they say that someone's hurt or in jail, try to call them. Call their phone. There have been some elaborate scams that have popped up here recently where they're able to find the number for both parties involved, and you've got one on the phone with the grandchild and one on the phone with the grandparent. If you can't get them on the phone, go a step further. Call the law enforcement agency directly that they're saying they're from, verify by name, and see if they can put you in contact with that person directly. Don't just call the number back, because we have found that they're using names that we put on our social media to try and add legitimacy to it.
Well, thank you for that. We've got to wrap up here, but I do want to talk about your team. You guys are doing a fantastic job in property crimes. Tell us about your stats real quick.
Oh, wow. There's so many to go through.
Just the last month.
Just the last month. So we made 16 arrests last month. And through that, and which is a lot. I mean, when you look at the cases that we get, the solvability, that it's hard with property crimes to prove some of them. But we made 16 arrests, over half of total for CIB itself. And we have a closure rate that's between 25 and 30%, which is 12 to 15% higher than the national average. So the detectives are doing a fantastic job solving your crimes.
Fantastic. With the detectives and your leadership. Thank you so much. Well, great information. Thanks again, Sergeant Teems. And up next, in our Deputy on Duty, the first time ever, your Leon County Sheriff's Office is now a gold standard nationally accredited agency. How did we do it? Stay tuned.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for kids, teens, or young adults. It's just not.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals and volatile organic compounds into your body.
And nicotine, the same highly addictive substance found in regular cigarettes.
Nicotine can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
Affecting learning, memory, attention, and impulse control, and priming the brain for other addictions. Vaping products also come in kid-friendly flavors that can make them appealing to youth.
And many kids also use other drugs, like marijuana, in vaping devices.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media,
Many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping, because when you talk, they hear you.
In this episode of Deputy on Duty, we're thrilled to announce that the Leon County Sheriff's Office has achieved national accreditation.
We received our initial CALIA accreditation, meaning that we went through our self-assessment phase, we went through a file review and an on-site review to ensure that as a base, we meet all the standards that they require. We now go into a reaccreditation cycle where, The initial was the handshake saying, nice to meet you, you do meet our standards, but now we show that continued compliance over years to show that we really have internalized that into our culture of our agency.
Lieutenant Justin Whittle serves as the accreditation manager for the Leon County Sheriff's Office, and he has been instrumental in assisting LCSO in achieving national accreditation and maintaining our state accreditation.
My role in the unit is making sure that our agency is meeting both state and national best practices and accreditation standards. My unit's responsible for modifying writing policies, making sure they're in compliance with expectations, making sure our practice meets our policy, so we're actually walking the walk, not just saying we do these things, but verifying that we actually do it.
In November, CALEA honored LCSO with their esteemed gold standard national accreditation.
CALEA is the Commission on Law Enforcement Accreditation. They are the national accrediting body. They provide accreditation oversight for the United States, Mexico, a couple of the outlying countries. So it's an international level of best practices and standards.
Sheriff Walt McNeil envisions the Leon County Sheriff's Office as a world-class agency.
And we believe that the only way you can achieve a designation of being the best is somebody has to gauge that, to give you some idea of how you're progressing towards that goal of being the best. And I believe that's important because it sends a message both internally and externally about who we are and what we're trying to do for this community.
Receiving national accreditation is a win-win scenario for everyone. Sheriff McNeil and Lieutenant Whittle discussed this designation and how it positively benefits both the community and the employees of the Leon County Sheriff's Office.
Accreditation isn't a static process, it's a living process. It's that constant cycle of improvement. So our community can have faith that the agency is looking at this and constantly finding ways to get better.
It means a lot to, hopefully, our employees to know that you work for an organization that is, in fact, doing cutting-edge things and actually involved in best practices, and our policies and our procedures and the way we treat our employees is in accordance with the various strategies and techniques being used by other agencies across the world. And so I think that echoes, hopefully, internally to our employees, and it gives them a satisfaction knowing that they work for a great agency like Leon County Sheriff's Office.
Even though LCSO has held state accreditation for almost 30 years, this new national accreditation designation demonstrates our commitment to being all in to ensuring that both LCSO employees and the citizens of Leon County achieve their goals and aspirations for the Leon County Sheriff's Office.
I believe that hopefully every employee here now has a greater understanding and a greater appreciation for working for an organization like this that tries to accomplish all the goals and aspirations that the employees have, in addition to the aspirations that the citizens have for our community. And those two should be interwoven, and that's what we think we're trying to do here in the Leon County Sheriff's Office, is to weave in the best practices, best policies that at the end of the day supports the goals and aspirations of the citizens of Leon County. That's what it's all about.
If you're looking for a rewarding career, apply for a job at the Leon County Sheriff's Office by visiting our website at leoncountyso.com. For Leon County Today, I'm Shonda Knight.
Download the Leon County Sheriff's Office mobile app right now. Our mobile app makes it easier than ever to report a crime and get important safety alerts. You can also see who's been booked at the Leon County Detention Facility and follow reported crimes in your neighborhood, all in one convenient location in the palm of your hands. Download LCSO Connect right now. It's free in the Apple App Store and Google Play by searching LCSO Connect.
Welcome back to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. We're here with Undersheriff Ron Cave. It's been a full show today. Lots of great information from Sergeant Teems and the wonderful work they're doing.
Oh, absolutely. And it's all about awareness and educating the public because there's so many things and so many scam opportunities out there.
Yeah, and they're sophisticated. We talked a little bit offline about AI, where they can even duplicate people's voices. You think you're actually hearing the voice of a loved one, so always hang up, call your person, and make sure it's legitimate.
Yeah, call your person, make sure, and if they answer, then they're not going to be locked up. And the other thing, too, that I've heard recently about is check their location. If you have a Find My app
that was a
phone.
really good one.
Yeah,
so lots of great information there. And then we got to talk about this gold standard CALIA accreditation. We were both over in Jacksonville for the big ceremony. I think from the perspective of hearing from Justin Woodall, who really led our effort internally for this, but there are a lot of moving parts to get this CALIA accreditation.
Oh, there is. So we've been state accredited through the Commission for Florida Law Enforcement Accreditation since I think 1997. So we've been accredited at a state level. But when Sheriff McNeil came into office, he says, we want to go to the gold standard, which is that national accreditation. And on the state level, there's 200 and some odd standards. On the national, there's more than double that. So it's significant. And Lieutenant Woodall has done a fantastic job in leading that. Chief Summers, now retired chief, and Sergeant Fender. And it's been a collaborative effort. Now, they are the ones that have led it, but it truly takes embracement of the entire agency. Because it's every aspect of the agency, and we're proud of that.
We are. We're looking forward to celebrating even more here. Now we brought the gold standard home for sure. And the other thing about this CALIA accreditation that I think is good for our community to know is once we get this standard, you got to keep it.
Yes, and they say getting it is oftentimes a promise of what you're going to be doing over this next accreditation cycle. And now you're going to have annual check-ins on making sure that our policies are only the best policies as it relates to criminal justice and the implementation of criminal justice standards and all the things you do as an agency for the community. So we're certainly proud of that.
Congratulations to the team. Thank you again for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Happy
to.
All right, we'll see you back here next week.